All right.
Okay, this is
So, welcome everybody and anybody that's here. If there is anybody here currently, we are here with a fellow friend and a fellow gamer that knew Tyler, or AKA I am Wi-Fi. This is Drag Up Tank. He's been
Hi.
with us since Mixer days, all the way through, and now she is on Twitch currently, and we will make sure that her link is posted in our Discord, and also we will share this video on our YouTube and other socials. You guys can go back and watch it if you don't have time to watch it all the way through with us today. So, what we're doing here today, we are going to do, or we are going to talk about gaming and mental health and how they have helped her through certain situations, or how they intertwine in her life. I know that mental health is huge and it's not talked about enough. So we're trying to bring more awareness and everything that we can to tell everybody and anybody that we can reach out to. And we all know that not everybody talks about it. We're trying to make it easier for everybody to want to open up and want to share, want to be able to come forward and talk to somebody so they don't struggle.
I definitely agree with that.
Um, so with that being said, and with the introductions, we're here with also Mrs. Wi-Fi, Alyssa, Jer Bear, Jerry,
hello.
everybody close to our hearts with Tyler, in the foundation, Fly High Wi-Fi, and we just want to welcome you, Tank, and appreciate your time. We look forward to this session that we're about to have.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really do appreciate you guys reaching out to me. Something that I've worked really hard to build in my community alone is the fact that we're open about our mental health. If we're not having a great time, we want to be able to reach out to each other and kind of build those bonds between not just people in a stream, whereas it's more of a community that's kind of interwoven. And if somebody's struggling, I definitely want to be able to reach out to them, or them feel like they can reach out to me and be like, hey, I'm not really having a great day today. I need somebody to talk to, and them always have at least someone to talk to. That's really important to me.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So, gaming is something that you do full time.
Mhm.
You are a full time streamer and gamer, a wife,
I
I
have
believe.
2 dogs
Yep.
and 2 snakes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're wild.
Also, I believe you have cars, also, right?
I used to have a lot more vehicles, but right now we're kind of down to like my Mustang and I think 4 or 5 trucks.
Just
So,
4 or 5.
Yeah, just 4 or 5.
no big deal. Like
Yeah.
just a small amount. I mean, at one point my yard was completely, from one point to the next in the front yard, had a vehicle, and we didn't have space, so we had to park them on the street. We were up to like 10 or 15, so
Ooh.
it gets a little rough.
Yeah. So, with gaming, how much has it had an influence on your mental health?
I think for me, gaming is one of those things you can play any type of game and kind of retreat into something that isn't just your own mind, if that makes sense. It's very much, you can almost like immerse yourself in another reality, and it kind of takes your mind off of something, even if it's for 10, 15, 20 minutes, or even like 6 hours. It's one of those things, it takes kind of the pressure of day-to-day mundane life things that may be stressful, or if you're having serious mental health issues or anything like that. I feel like a lot of multiplayer games are really good, especially when you have, friends and stuff like that around you, to kind of uplift you, and it just gives you a chance to kind of lay your burdens down and move forward in something that doesn't require you to think about it. Whereas, a lot of the times for me, like, sitting in a room alone is just going to cause more problems than it would for me to have something to do that isn't, if I mess up, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's a game. I can walk away from it. But if I mess up, something like cooking dinner, it might feel like the end of the world to me because my food is burnt. But if my food is burnt in a video game, I just restart from the save point.
Correct. I get that. And I can concur with that. In retrospect, virtual reality of video gaming gives you a different outlook and a different place to be with your thoughts.
Yep.
And that way, also, I've talked to more of my gaming friends and people that I play with on a daily basis than I do my friends and
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that.
and I know that it's easier. It really is easier with those people in my life. I pick up my phone and call them. I have all their phone numbers. Talk, we text throughout the day, weekly, whatever it may be. But I know that they're there.
Yeah.
And I'm not really how gaming has helped myself ever since I was little. I said that like it was my scapegoat.
Yeah.
So like I was having a hard time. I read myself.
Your
Yeah.
mic is
Cutting
out just a little
Is
bit.
it cutting out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like your gate's kind of cutting you off.
Yeah, it might be. I have to sit up now. I was trying to relax. But yeah, like gaming has just always been like a scapegoat for me when I was younger, but now it's not necessarily a escape for me. It's more of a lean-to and a way to help reach out and keep in touch with people and not feel alone in certain moments. So
I could definitely agree with that. And I think for a lot of people, they don't understand, especially if you don't really play video games, if it wasn't something that you've picked up. Video games are for everybody. Whether you're a 4-year-old or a 40-year-old or an 80-year-old, you can pick up a video game and start playing it and have a good time. And it's just a matter of what calls to you. There's so many games on the market, just from platform to platform, PC to Xbox to PlayStation to Nintendo Switch, all the way back to your Genesis, your Sega Genesis, your Ataris, your Nintendos. Like everything, you have an option out there to play whatever you want, and it doesn't have to be an extremely complex game, but it can be, it could be Pong. Honestly, like I've had a lot of fun playing Pong in a basement way back in the day.
I know
So,
Tetris.
Tetris, I love Tetris. Tetris is pretty good.
What's your favorite? Oh, go ahead, Lissa.
I was gonna say I want to build a little bit off of what you were just saying, because I didn't understand, still don't really understand the gaming community, but I did see like the bond that people do develop when everything had happened. Jerry, Ben, Sharp, everyone kind of took me in. And you're talking about like games that you can pick up and play. They taught me how to play Rocket League in like a day, not even a day, and I'm illiterate when it comes to anything technology.
Yeah, I completely understand that.
So could you talk a little bit more about like the relationship or bonds you've developed with people that have helped?
The thing with like gaming is you never know who you're gonna meet, especially when you're looking into just like, we'll start with just multiplayer games. You never know who you're gonna run into. And so I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story with this. I had a mod. His name was Bandit. He is absolutely wonderful. I lost him last October. He, had a sudden heart attack and we lost him. And I actually met him through Call of Duty in a hardcore search and destroy, lobby. He was just one of the few people that were being nice to me because I was getting screamed at for being a girl, only doing snipers, doing this, doing that, and he was like, hey, that girl's pretty good, and I became friends with him, and he eventually became my mod on Twitch. The thing with it is you never know who you're going to build a bond with until you have that conversation and you kind of put yourself out there to a certain degree. And it can be as simple as, hey, that girl's pretty good. We should invite her to our squad. She's alone. do you want to come squad up with us, honey? Like, he was on the opposite team. He wasn't even on my team when I met him, and he was just being absolutely nice. He wasn't, you know, looking for anything friendship wise. He just wanted somebody to fill their squad, and it was one of those things of he just, you know, kind of, sorry if you hear my husband in the background, I apologize so much.
I'll apologize in gaming right now.
Yeah, he's playing
And then no,
PUBG.
do not apologize. Well,
playing
if he's
PUBG.
playing PUBG, then yes, we apologize for him.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
You'll hear some raging. Oh my god, he's really loud.
Sorry.
He's usually not that loud. But you know, it's just a simple bond of we became friends over playing Call of Duty over and over again, and I never expected to make friends with somebody that lives across the country from me. That ended up becoming my mod. I became best friends with his wife. Like, we all played games together. We used to play Among Us together a lot. And it was one of those things of like, I built a bond with him and his wife over something that usually is like kind of uncircumstantial, or not uncircumstantial, irrelevant to a certain degree to most people, but I became a lifelong friend with him and Patches over that. And so I think it's one of those things of you never know until you try it, and just trying something out can definitely lead to a lifelong friendship. And I think with the gaming community, especially with females in the gaming community, we have it so much harder in the degree of, if you're playing shooters, if you're playing male dominated esports or anything like that, you're always going to be kind of talked down to. You know, the guys in the lobby are always, you know, go make me a sandwich, go make me that. But once you find the few people that are like, hey, she's killing this lobby right now, like we should be friends with her, that's when you run into lifelong friends, and people kind of wrap their communities around people to protect them. And I think in your case, that is definitely something that Sharp and everybody has been amazing to do, is kind of wrap you up and kind of bring you into the family.
Yes, they definitely did. It was like an instant, you're one of us now.
Well, to be fair, that's what Tyler did with pretty much everyone he met.
Oh, he tried to touch my butt first,
Yeah.
but
That's
Yeah,
definitely the
that
first
sounds
thing
like
tried
something
to
he would do. Yeah.
And Tyler, for me, I didn't want to like Tyler at first. He was very in your face and loud, and I'm a reserved guy. And, you know, I'm pretty quiet most of the time until I rage. But you know, and it was, Tyler was just constant in my face, and he made me be his friend.
I don't think you really got a chance with him to not be his friend, to be completely honest.
Yep.
It was very much, you're either my friend or I don't know you.
Yep.
Kind of
Yep.
thing.
And then
And then all of his... Go ahead, Jerry.
if you talked constant, you were family.
Hmm. I was going to say, all of his friends, I mean, at least for me, he would FaceTime the guys and then just like put me on the camera, and I'm like, I don't know these people.
Who are you people?
my wife, I do it to my wife all the time.
Just do the wave and like run away, and he's like, no, you got to talk more, and I'm like, I don't even know their names.
Yeah, it's definitely like that. I remember the first thing he ever came in my chat and said was, I bet your OnlyFans is a soldier and a gun. And I was
No.
like, what?
That yeah.
And
that's
he's
my
like-
style.
And then he's like, I'm just here to touch your culo. And he didn't like introduce himself or nothing like that. He just comes straight for the butt. Like, I was like, all right. So he had a way to make the room brighter around you, with
really did.
whether making you. The hardest thing with Tyler is if you didn't feel uncomfortable, he wasn't doing his job. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sus Sundays are a thing because of Tyler. That's,
I
and now
remember a lot of times with Tyler, just from watching like Mitch's stream or your stream or Bori's stream, sitting in chat and just laughing as hard as I could because of the fact of the comments that would come out of his mouth, and I'm just sitting there like, did he really just say that? Like, it was quite comical.
He didn't care.
he didn't care if it broke any TOS of anything,
Nope.
Twitches,
No.
anybody's. It was
Nope.
I'm saying whatever the hell I want to say.
Yep.
Ought to make somebody laugh or make them feel better.
Yep.
He definitely did that. Always. You spoke upon being a female in a male-dominated side of esports and gaming, and is that been something difficult for you to try to break the barrier on?
At first, I think especially when I first started streaming, it was really hard for me to kind of get over that hump of people aren't gonna like you just because you're a female. But I think once I kind of set my feet and kind of got established and figured out what I was doing, I kind of got that confidence and that air back, because before I started streaming, I didn't have an issue in lobbies. Like, people have always been extremely toxic in COD lobbies and whatever
True.
lobby I'm in. And it didn't bother me until I started streaming and I started seeing this other side of them immediately coming into my chat after a match and screaming, profanities about how I looked, or about a sandwich, or how my body was, or that I was this or that. And I think for me, it bothered me at first, but once I kind of got my foot in the door and I kind of figured out how streaming works, and how a lot of the male streamers in the community aren't like just the toxic ones that you see on YouTube or TikTok or anything like that. I think for me, it really kind of balanced out, and I figured that there are better communities out there than just those really popular toxic masculinity ones. And I think for me, it's just a matter of getting that confidence and knowing my worth within the community.
Yes, and you had built a great community. It's a grind, as we all know. Streaming can take a lot out of.
It is a lot. I'm going on 3 years in March.
Yeah, and it can take a lot out of you mentally too.
It definitely can. I have really pushed myself in the past to pump out hours over quality of stream, and I have worked really hard to kind of reel that back and focus more on my mental health and how I feel. And I'm trying really hard within the past 6 months or so to focus on prioritizing not always streaming any game that I play, and falling back in love with just playing video games and not worrying about what content is going to come out of me playing that video game. And it's helped my content by far.
That's huge,
Really
because
good.
I do know that you get sucked into that hole of, you see your numbers starting to grow, and you see the, I don't want to say light at the end of the tunnel, to where you finally make it over that hump, to where you finally see your streaming career take off. But them first 6-7 months where you're only grinding to 3-4 people maybe, in your stream, and you're sitting at 300-400 followers, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, 1 month you hit 300 follows and you're averaging 12 to 15, and at that point it drives you to want to keep going more and more and more. Next thing you know, you're putting up 300 hours in a month, and you're dead.
Yep.
You're not putting out that same good content that everybody's falling in love with. You're angry, you're raging at the game that you're playing, that you used to play for fun.
Yeah.
You used to play that game, but now your hobby has now become your profession in streaming, and it took a lot of the love of the game for me, PUBG at the time. And
For me as well.
yeah, and now I sit here and we're playing Call of Duty back to 3-4 people, but I'm enjoying it again. And I don't stream as much as I did, and I, like you said, that you had to reel it back in and go back for your mental health instead of grinding.
I think for me, it was a really hard pill for me to swallow, because I didn't have an issue pumping out a 10 to 14 hour long stream, no real breaks. I'd stop and grab a snack or some food, something to drink, and use the potty if I needed to. But I was not getting up, I wasn't stretching, I wasn't exercising anything. I really was just sit here and stare at a screen for hours on end, to the point where I was getting migraines from all the blue lights. I had to start wearing blue light filtering glasses all the time. And I wasn't taking care of myself and especially my mental health. I was letting it just kind of deteriorate because of the fact that I wasn't realizing that it was kind of eating away slowly but surely. And by the time I realized that it was really rapidly declining, it was too late. And I had to take a step back and take a week off of streaming and be like, I've just got to completely reset, rewind, and learn to kind of balance my time a little bit better. And I think within streaming and content creation alone, there is this constant, I need to one up myself. I've got to do better. I've got to build this. I've got to build that. You've always got, I've got to add more bits alerts. I've got to add more stuff to the stream to make it more interactive for the viewers. I've got to worry about TikTok content. I need to start producing for YouTube. I need to start producing this so that I can reach out. I need to put this Instagram post out. I need to put this Twitter post out. And it's very, very draining on your mental health. And a lot of people don't understand when you get into content creation that it takes everything to really focus a lot of the times on everything that you have to do. It's not just getting on stream and say, hey y'all, how you doing? I'm playing a video game. I hope you guys are having a great day. Some streamers are able to get away with that, but some streamers have to, like myself, put in the extra work, post on Instagram, post on Twitter. I'm trying to get into TikTok. Good Lord, I don't. I do not understand video editing to save my life right now. I am trying so hard, but it is one of the few skills I do not have. Hopefully, maybe my husband one day will figure out how to do it and just do all my video editing and nice over in there in the corner. Don't have to worry about it no more. But I think it's just a matter of you don't understand how much of a toll that it takes on you. And it really can define, a lot of people define their careers by their successes, by their follows, by their subs, by the amount of money that is coming in, and they don't understand the community that they're building. And for me, there was a point that I was only about how much money was coming in, and I wasn't about the community around me. And once I finally put my foot down, I realized my community isn't what I want them to be. I need to really build my community up and make it a safe place for people to come in and talk about whatever they need to talk about. If they need to, trauma dump, I prefer they don't do that in chat, but they are more than welcome to trauma dump to me in my DMs, and I would answer immediately. It doesn't matter if I'm on stream or off stream. If I see it, I'm going to answer you, and I'm going to tell you it's going to be okay. And it will pass.
Yeah, that's something that I've had huge success in when I first started. I've given out my personal phone number many times live on stream because at the end of the day, it's more about being there for the people that need it. And
Exactly.
sometimes my phone would ring at 3-4 in the morning, and I would be getting up for work in the next hour or so, but I would still answer the phone and not worry about the sleep, because at the end of the day, I say that, and I can't be just saying that and not being there.
Yeah.
Because, and people that might need the help might not actually be, you might not be there, and they might not call or might not reach out in any way, shape, or form. And the sleep will come back, So it's just something that's always meant more to me, and I lost sight of that for a while when I joined a certain gaming team and I started to push certain things and thought I was seeing a bigger picture and thought it was all for the greater good, and come to find out it was a business. It wasn't truly about what I originally started. For me, I started for Mission 22 and reaching out to veterans and raising awareness and suicide and PTSD, and I lost sight of that, and I had to get back to it. And then it helped me with, it was like a realization, having the people that I do now there for me every day. And when I switched games or went to a different style video game, that the people I thought were my kids, thought were real friends and everything like that, they didn't follow and they didn't come in, and if you weren't dropping money in their stream or dropping bits or subs or whatever, they weren't there anymore. So
I can
you find
understand
out.
that. Oh, good.
As a second build off of what Sharp's saying a little bit, I know Tyler's PC took a crap when he was getting back into streaming. And then we were talking about rebuilding his PC so he could get back into it. And he started saying, like, no, he didn't want to because he played more Rocket League. And that wasn't something that people watched or came to. And he'd rather play it for his own happiness and instead of entertaining others. So he kind of pulled away from the idea of rebuilding his PC because he wanted to focus on what made him happy. And I think he said before we started recording that that was a big change for you, Drag, that you had to start playing the games that made you happy and not necessarily what others wanted.
Yeah, it was definitely a very hard pill for me to swallow because I had viewership and I had an active community that was very, they were amazing when I was playing PUBG, but I definitely watched those numbers fall off as I started playing other games. I stopped maining PUBG as my game to go to relax or anything like that because I got to the point where it was just making me upset. It was irritating me. I was irritable all the time. It just made me unhappy to play. But I was going back to it because of the fact that I felt kind of obligated to play that game because that's where my content is. That's where my viewers want to see. That's this, that's that. And since I moved from Mixer to Twitch, I kind of opened up a little bit and started playing different games. I think the first one that I really noticed a difference and like a happiness is Phasmophobia. It's a ghost hunting game on PC with a bunch of wonderful people. Shout out to JoJo because she taught me everything I know on Phas. But it's one of those things of like once I finally kind of broke out of my shell and realized that as long as my content is good, people will come. It might not be the numbers that everybody else sees, but those 3 people matter more to me than 500 people. I would rather have 3 active people in my chat saying, hey, how are you? I hope you're having a good day today, than have 500 that are like, oh my god, did you just see that nasty snipe? That's all she does is snipe. Like, I would much rather have an active community that cares about each other than have a community built around toxicity.
PUBG, yeah.
I can speak on that to Tyler coming back to streaming. Because even with us, Ryan and I, he discussed not wanting to stream because he didn't want to play PUBG. He was having fun with DayZ, he was having fun with Rocket League, just playing with his friends. And there was quite a few of us that encouraged him to get back into streaming. Like, I wanted to see him stream because I enjoyed his content. Most of the time I was playing with him and I still had his stream pulled up. But like days I was at work and he was streaming, I could watch. And I know there was way more than just me thinking that. There was way more than just Ryan. Like, there was a lot of people that told Tyler they wanted him to stream, but he didn't want to play PUBG, and that's what the majority of the people that were telling him wanted him to play. So, speaking to what you were speaking about is firsthand, I got to witness that with Tyler. Because from the tournaments that he hosted and the community events he did, he had a good following, and he always had people in his chat if he was playing PUBG. And he would get discouraged when he would switch to Rocket League, and most of this chat would disappear. So
It'd be us 5, 6 people that go in there every day.
Yep.
And majority of the time it was us that was playing with them.
Yep.
And see, that can be a little frustrating especially when you're just kind of dipping your toes into content creating. It's one of those things of once you get over that hump and you realize that your viewership will fluctuate no matter how popular you are, no matter how many viewers you have, no matter what, it all depends on how people are feeling. Some days I have, 10 people max. Some days I have up to 60, 70. It just kind of depends on the day. And I really try to focus hard on not looking at my viewer count. as a measure for how successful my stream was over the content that I produced and the community talking to me and interacting with me and me feeling like I'm connected to them after stream.
Yep. And that's where he got with the new PC, is he was going to do what made him happy, and he knew that he was going to have, you know, those 20 people or 10 people in his chat that actually wanted to be there, instead of the people that were there for the PUBG or the tournaments or the community events. So
Yeah.
it was always the same people that cared about Tyler that were there, and he cared about them. He cared about everyone, but
He didn't. It didn't matter. He knew you for 10 seconds or 10 years. He cared about you just as much as the next person.
I think what a lot of people don't understand with communities and stuff like that, especially communities like Tyler's and mine and Sharp's and Jair's and whatnot, with the intent of going into it for community building versus monetary gain, can be a night and day difference of what that community is about and how they play their games and they run their streams. I have a lot of friends that I've met through various mutuals and stuff like that that go out of their way to make sure, you know, people have, you know, access to, you know, mental health care that they need, like access lines, stuff like that. I personally have not had that on my stream, just because I highly encourage people, if you have the opportunity to get help from a professional, I would prefer that over just some random person on the internet. I can talk to you, I can have a conversation with you, but I can't offer all of the guidance that you may need. And I don't like to advocate to my chat as to, you know, kind of say like, hey, if you're having a hard time, like, you can come talk to me. I don't want them to ever feel like I am a professional or that I can solve all their problems, because I can't. At the end of the day, I struggle with my own mental health issues and, you know, depression, anxiety, stuff like that. So for me, it's just one of those things of a lot of places are better equipped, and I would rather them go to somebody that's a little bit better equipped. I don't mind talking about it, but I can't help in the long run besides having a conversation, and sometimes that's all people need.
yeah, but you don't know until you know. Right?
Exactly.
That's very smart. I respect that. Which is why we're here. We're trying to be that, right? Alyssa's
Yeah.
going back to school. Alyssa, if you want to talk on that.
I'm in my second semester back to get my master's in clinical mental health counseling. So I think spring of 2020 or 2024, I will be licensed in clinical mental health counseling.
That's amazing. That's absolutely
Thanks.
amazing.
So we're,
Um,
I mean, as a whole organization, we're trying. Eventually, we're going to try and have professionals besides Alyssa on board, you know, so we can have people online or on phone calls or something. So we don't
Have a
to direct
hotline.
to someone else. We can be their go-to. So,
That's absolutely amazing. Actually amazing.
I think we went into it, and this was one of the first things we decided because of what you're saying. Like, we want to be able to actually give that guidance and step in as a professional. And like one of the big things is we can direct people to therapists, because there's difference between counselors, therapists, and psychiatrists. Counselors just help guide. They can diagnose, but it's not an official diagnosis until they see a therapist, and it's kind of like works up from there.
Yeah.
So pretty much what counselors do is they take theories and they just give you tips and tricks on how to cope with what you're dealing with. We know all the medical background, and I could sit here and say like, oh, you are showing signs of PTSD, so I want to refer you to this person, and that's how you get the door in so that they can actually be diagnosed.
And this was all the original vision of one and only Tyler.
Yep.
And it's being carried out because he confided all of us and wanted to start it. And when sadly to say, everything happened. It wasn't whether or not we should, it was how do we get it going.
Yep.
And
That's an amazing
with,
viewpoint to take.
yeah, because it would never thought, it was never thought of, it was never anything more than we owe this to him because he wanted it so bad and he struggled. He really did, and it just it saddens all of us. It's taken a part of all of us away, and it's a way to carry his legacy on in a positive manner.
I think a lot of people don't understand. I'm going to use Robin Williams as an example. Nobody understood the struggles that Robin Williams was going through, and they used comedy as a coping mechanism to make everybody else around them so happy. And you don't understand the struggles and the pains that they're going through day to day because they're not actively talking about it. And there's kind of the stigma around mental health that if you talk about it, you're weak, you're this, you're that, and it doesn't facilitate conversation whatsoever. And I know for males, it is very much suck it up, you're being a baby, you're being a, pussy. You've got to get your shit together, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry for cussing, but that's how they, kind of talk about it, especially when you're looking at a military background. It's very stigmatized to have mental health problems, whether you're active duty or a veteran. It's very stigmatized. Well, you have this problem, this problem, this problem. You need to suck it up. You were trained better than this. You were trained to not feel that. And so a lot of communities, and a lot of individuals don't get the proper health needs, like mental health help that they need, in order to work through their problems, because it's not going to go away, using alcohol or using illicit substances or anything like that. And a lot of veterans sadly do turn to that to try to negate what they're feeling, and it makes it very difficult once you get an addiction brought into a mental health problem, and it kind of compounds on each other and builds and builds and builds until it snowballs and you have an avalanche.
And I can add to that. I work in a male-dominated role as a welder, and I can tell you firsthand, it's nobody there talks about it. Nobody wants to talk about it because that makes them a pussy, as you said. And they get looked down on by their peers and their bosses or their wives or their girlfriends or whatever the case may be. And I've started to spread that, the toughest person is going to ask. They're going to say they need help. If you want to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. What's it going to do? Who cares what the next guy has to say? Do they pay your bills? Do you sleep next to them at night? It's not anybody else's issues. It's not anybody else's problems. And that's the mindset that I've always had, but I know not everybody has that mindset, which for me makes it easier to talk about things to people. But yeah, so I'm working on that, like internally, slowly, because welders, they're a different breed, man. They're assholes. 100%.
If you want my opinion of welders, off the record here, of course. Are we talking about just welders in general, or are we talking about pipeline welders?
So I'm just a manufacturing welder.
Okay.
I will.
Well, if you haven't seen my name, it is Drag Up Tank, and that's a pipeline term. And welders are the wimps of the pipeline community, as they are called. Much worse than that, typically. But I'm going to say the wimps. They are very much crybabies, and they're like, oh, it's wet out here, we can't weld in the wet, and in the rain it's too muddy, I can't do this, I can't do that. And so they kind of get the bad end of the stick.
Yep. Yeah. No, I just weld frames for tractors, so. But in there it's like welders, and then assemblers and kitters, and so welders are like the alphas, I guess you could say, and it's so annoying because
You know, the funny thing is, it's basically anywhere welding is involved, they always think that they're the alphas when they're really not.
right, like I don't care. I'm just another guy trying to make a paycheck.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Alyssa also works in a male-dominated field, so we
Yeah.
can agree on all of that. That it's not. I don't know. They make it so hard to reach out, to make people want to reach out.
They surely do. And then I like that you use like Robin Williams as an example. I mean, obviously, I seen Tyler's content, but I also seen behind the closed doors, essentially, of Tyler. He'd broken down to me quite a few times about different things, and he did, I mean, start going to see a counselor. He did want to make that change when he first started talking about this nonprofit. One of the things we had talked about is like he had to get his own mental health under control in order to make this vision come to life. So even that, I'm sure he probably would be like cussing me out right now, like, why are you telling people I went to see a counselor? Because he had that veteran mindset, that military mindset that he should be stronger than it. But he also knew he needed that help too, so kind of changing that stigma that it is okay. I mean, I'm not one to talk about my emotions, but I sucked it up and I started seeing a counselor because I was like, I have to get my mental health under control to do
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do what Tyler envisioned. So I was like, one, I can't have the double standard when he was talking to me about things, saying that I'm not equipped to handle this. So you have to talk to a professional. So becoming the professional and also getting my mental health under control while also being raised in a very conservative background that even though I am a woman, I was raised by all men. So it was like, I grew to have that, oh, you should be tougher than this, you should mind over matter type of stuff.
Get the WD-40 and the duct tape. We're wrapping up whatever cut you have on your leg and we're spraying it down, you know? I get that completely.
Yeah. So,
I think,
and
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying with the military side, you hit it pretty much. They're trying to make it more now to where you're not frowned upon for coming forward with everything. But it was like I deployed back to back to back, and if I was to speak of anything that was bothering me mentally, I would have never been able to deploy. So a lot of those issues that I was struggling with, we blanket them so that we can continue to go on with our friends and the ones that we want to be over there with, and our brotherhood and our sisterhoods and stuff like that. So when we get home and 4 years has went by and you've deployed, and next thing you know, you just mask so many different feelings. You don't even know what you're supposed to feel anymore. And when you try to go get the help, they're like, why didn't you say something prior? Well, has this been an issue this whole time, or is it new? And it sucks because now I've been out since 2019, and I've been fighting the VA on other medical stuff for ever in my PTSD and everything that's coming forward, and they're not even factoring in right now because it wasn't documented back when I was getting ready to deploy in 2014 for the last time.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, why wasn't this an issue then, and why are you now just coming forward with it? Well,
Because
were-
you guys kind of teach us in basic training that we need to compartmentalize every feeling that we ever had and put it in a little box and put it over on the shelf and move on. Because you're a soldier now, you do what you're told and you don't ask any questions.
you got feelings, you leave them in the car.
Exactly.
I mean, Ryan, kind of playing off what you were just saying, one of my very first papers, because I am going to be a trauma-informed counselor, was about PTSD, and it was about World War II, that 75% of people that came back from the war didn't have invisible wounds, and all they did was ask that person. And I texted Ryan, and I was like, am I too close to this situation? Because I think this is a load of bullshit. And we talked back and forth a little bit, and I ended up writing the paper based on, like, maybe don't ask the actual veteran or soldier, ask the people that live around them. Because
yeah.
they're trained to say, no, I'm fine, but the people around them actually see what they're I mean, they might not see it all, but they're gonna be like, oh yeah, he changed when he came back, or she started doing this when she got back.
Yeah.
And
I
that
noticed he
outside
was
view.
waking up out of breath. You know, I noticed that, you know, sometimes he goes for a run at 3 o'clock in the morning for no reason.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. My wife can tell you a lot of things. That my quick fuse is a lot of it. Like, just I know that a lot of it, my anger. I struggle with anger issues, and I've never been physical towards anybody around me close. You know, but if some dude says something snide to me at the mall or somewhere, I'm ready to whoop his ass. And I had to learn how to tone that back because it can get me in a lot of trouble. Because now with kids and a family and a career and stuff like that, you fuck up once, you're done. They bury you. They don't give you the second chance that they used to. And everybody's got a cell phone out on you at any time now. So there's no like, yeah, it was self-defense anymore. No, yep, you blast them in his face. Yeah, that was all there was to it.
Yeah.
So I struggle with anger, and I leaned on my kids a lot and my wife, and they've been helping me get through it. Call of Duty doesn't make it better. Not at all.
Well, then stop playing it, Forehead.
There's really nothing else out that attracts me.
There's other games. You just
There
have to
is.
actually
You're
search
right.
for 'em.
Now listen.
You should really look at Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Top tier
What is?
game.
Are we
I'm
talking
telling
about
you.
Wesley Snipes?
No, it's actually a game. It's called Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion.
Oh wow.
Cross
On Steam.
23 doesn't play very
Jerry,
many games. He doesn't
chat, we
even
need a
try
fourth.
very many games. I've tried to get this man to play different games. He's like, nope, wouldn't like it.
I
So
bet you
now-
$1 I could get him play a different game.
Well, I've tried. I've tried to get him.
I'm
you know,
stubborn.
I played
and
Ark
I'm
one day.
very
Ark,
stubborn.
I know,
if
you're
you
very
played Ark,
stubborn.
You know, Ark is slow, it's grindy, it's boring, but it's chill.
I'm
You know
too
what?
ADD for boring and slow.
You know what I really think, Sharp, you might actually enjoy, games-wise? I think you would really enjoy a game called Satisfactory. You build your own factory on this, like, alien world. It takes a lot of math. It takes a lot of, like, calculating what your high output percentage is. You literally build an actual factory. It's got all the mechanics of real life built into a video game. You have to build like metal plates and rods, and then you can build like assemblers and mining and all that. And I think you would actually enjoy it. It's one of those games where it seems like it's going to be slow and tedious until you actually get into it and you're like, oh god, why am I doing this? It's been 17 hours and I'm still building a conveyor belt.
Sounds like something Jerry would do.
See?
I'm a little faster than that. No. No, I was saying taking 17 hours to build the conveyor belt.
Should see some of the houses I built on Ark and how long they took.
So yeah, I guess I get back into the whole like keeping my mind busy, and that stuff does work like that. And then another thing is like you lose sight of what might actually make you happy when you're streaming, because you're trying to put out the content that you know that people like. And
Have you ever thought about the fact that maybe the reason why you keep going back to shooters is because they are a comfort and a coping mechanism for yourself? There's
absolutely.
something that you know works, you know how the mechanics of it work, you know that you don't have to be anxious or anything like that because you can get in, you can immediately do what you need to do. It's like watching the same Netflix show over and over again. It's how you're coping because you don't want to see something new and shiny and kind of take the time to figure it out because you're anxious.
I 100% have my comfort shows.
No, it's a very common thing, especially, and it's a very common coping mechanism. I use it myself. I watch, you know, the same 5 shows on Netflix over and over again when I don't want to go find something new because I'm not feeling the greatest. I'm just like, oh, here's Grey's Anatomy. Let me just throw that on real quick. Here's this show. Here's that show. You know.
Feel a little bit called out right now.
Well, that's good. 'cause
Sorry.
No, I like it. Jerry, I
like-
just think you're being a dick, you know?
I mean, we all jumped in there, Sharp. You weren't by yourself. We were like, yeah, we got that.
Yeah, no, yeah. No, I just give Jerry shit because he does. He wants me to play certain games, and again getting lost in the stream doesn't want to see that, you know. But it's not that necessarily the stream doesn't care to see it, because they don't barely watch what I play now. So
It's Ryan
it's
doesn't want to learn
But
a
it's
new.
that mindset right there that is hindering you in the long
yeah, and
run.
that's what I just said. I feel like that it kind of challenged, you know.
You are the
Yeah, I'm
only
still
one
not
putting that
playing art.
limitation on yourself. The
I
possibility
agree.
is completely endless as long as you choose to go forth with it.
Greg,
I
is
agree.
that like a flip of the switch type of thing for you, or did you have to gradually like kind of talk yourself into it?
For me, it was. I found a game that I really enjoyed playing, and I was playing it off stream, and I was playing it before stream, and then I was going on stream and playing PUBG and just being absolutely miserable. And it was just kind of one of those things of like, why don't I just try streaming it? Why don't I just try it out? Like, I'm having a good time. I'm getting scared completely, senseless right now. Why don't I just go ahead and stream it? Worst case scenario, nobody shows up and I have a good time. At the end of the day, I have a good time and I don't have to worry about being upset, being mad, being upset at, lag switching, or I think what was it back in the PUBG days? Radar or this or that. It was solely errors that I was making and just getting scared by ghosts, or watching a dumb turnip run around a farm committing tax evasion. You know, um, it's one of those things of, I think it took me a minute to get adjusted and used to it. Yes, my numbers did drop, but my viewpoint on streaming and my content definitely was a million times better, and my mental health was better just from making that switch and choosing happiness over what's making me money or what's making me content, to the degree of viewership. And I think it's one of those things, if you're happy, your viewership will go up no matter what.
I agree with
As
that.
long as, yeah,
to,
good.
to an extent. I mean, because people are gonna watch the game they want to watch, right? Like,
Yeah, of course.
I watch some streamers play Rocket League. I don't necessarily like the streamer, but their gameplay is good, and I can learn from
Yeah.
it, so I watch it. But Ryan and Tyler and Stacks and Fade and Stento and those guys, I used to watch them because I liked them.
Yeah.
It wasn't their gameplay necessarily. Their gameplay was good, but it was because I liked them, and they always
Uh-huh.
made me feel comfortable going into their stream. Like, if I said hi, they said hi. They said good morning, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you to that extent. But
Yeah.
I think for me, within that, building kind of off of going into somebody's stream and them saying hi and stuff like that, it feels a lot more inclusive to go into somebody's stream that's enjoying what they're doing, enjoying the content that they're putting out. They're not kind of putting on that facade. And maybe the first few times you go to somebody's stream and you watch their stream and you kind of get to be becoming a part of their community, you can tell, when somebody is kind of putting on that fake smile and kind of being like, hey, I'm having a great time, but in all reality, they're just absolutely not having a good time. They're raging out, they're breaking their controllers, there's stuff like that. That stuff is funny when it's every once in a while. Don't get me wrong, I've had a few really good rages on stream. But if it's a continuation over and over again, you kind of start picking up that game is actually irritating, it's actually making them mad. If they're going to the degree of punching the wall, hitting the monitor, you can tell something's going on. And sometimes, if you've been in that community long enough, it's sometimes best to reach out and be like, hey man, I've noticed, you're really starting to rage out more and more. Have you thought about switching games? Are you okay? Is everything okay behind the scenes? Because you never know what's going on, especially when it does come to content creation. You only know what I tell you, kind of thing. And a lot of people don't understand that most content creators put on, kind of a fake face when it comes to stream. And that's not a bad thing. I've done it myself, on days that I don't feel so great. I still put on a happy smile and I try to entertain people. But there's also days where I get on stream like, hey guys, we're gonna have a super chill night. I'm not gonna be super upbeat tonight. I'm not feeling the greatest. My mental health is not doing great. We're just gonna chill and vibe. And those have been some of the best nights of my life. Laughing and giggling and cutting up with chat. People coming in and out playing video games with me and just genuinely making my time there better because I opened up and I said, hey, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, I'm this, I'm that. And just being honest with people. And a lot of people don't understand that a message, even saying, hey, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and a little smiley face can mean the world to somebody. And a lot of people don't understand how much that does matter. Even if it's once in a blue moon, it doesn't matter. People do care.
Yep, I agree with you.
And that's one thing for me, like when Mixer went down, the big thing was like, oh shit, what platform do we go to now? And a lot of people were going straight to Twitch, and I contemplated going to Facebook until I started like watching a few streams on Facebook and realizing that they used real names and people weren't behind a gaming profile. And to me, the hidden identity gives people a security. So they come on to Twitch with a username as Pros23 instead of on Facebook. It gives out full governments.
Wait,
So
you're telling me your name is not Sharp?
right,
Wait
exactly.
a minute.
So
Mine too.
so that was the reason what made it easier for me to choose Twitch over Facebook, because especially trying to open up the security of talking about your mental health and make, like, if you want to come in and talk about it, I don't know you from Jack, from Jill, from anything like that. I know you as this username. It's your story, you tell me. And if you open up with how you really feel, that's just tied to that and not your real name. Or I can't be like, oh well, go report this person for so and so on Facebook because they're doing whatever. It just, that was the security that Twitch gave me versus Facebook. And I think that has a lot to do with why Twitch is still number one, is because people can be who they want to be behind that name. And
And I think it, not only with the sense of security, it also gives that kind of I can't even say the word. I can't. I can't say the word. Being anonymous. We're gonna go with being anonymous because I can't say the other word right now. It kind of gives you that chance to tell your story without everybody knowing who you are or even what you look like. At the end of the day, you have no clue what somebody in chat looks like, their age, anything about them unless they tell you. And I think that kind of gives people a little bit more of a confidence boost, because I don't know anything
100%.
about you. All I know is, hey, your name is, Discord bot 1, and you really like talking about turtles. That's what you enjoy. So I'm going to talk to you every day. I like turtles. I'm going to talk to you every day about a turtle. Every time I see you, hey, how's your turtle doing? Oh, you have a pet dog. Let me talk to you about your dog. And you kind of build that relationship with people, and they don't feel like all of their faults are laid out immediately. They have a chance, a fresh slate, to not have the weight of the world on their shoulders, especially when you're going through mental health struggles. I know a lot of the times it feels almost suffocating and crushing, and to be able to go to a place to be like, hey, I'm not having a great day, but I'm really enjoying watching you beat the crap out of a turnip or do this or do that.
I feel like this is now I can't say subliminal messaging over here because you got me. But I feel like you're really trying to get me. Are you tied to this video game somewhere?
Play turnip boy commits tax evasion. It's really good, okay? It's about a turnip committing tax evasion. What more do you want out of life? No, it's because it popped up on my little Steam thing, and I just keep saying it. So I'm like, oh, that's the game I'm going to right now. What do you want me to play Thief Simulator right now? I got that too.
Isn't tax invasion basically the same thing, being a thief?
Don't be from the government. Come on now.
Touche. But yeah, that's huge. I think having the security with the username was like the biggest thing. It was a positivity thing for me to come over to Twitch instead of Facebook, and it's helped. I know because there's people that open up to me through DMs or whatever, and Gary's been there. Middle of tournaments for PUBG for BG, I'll shut the stream down and take my phone call or chat offline with them or get into a separate party and mute to everybody else in the middle of tournaments because at the end of the day that tournament was nothing, and
It doesn't matter.
$20.
yeah, $20 or pizza money if you win. So, and it just, I lost sight of that for a while. I will say that. So getting back to that is something that I needed to do, and playing with Tyler and Jerry and Ben and Landon and all these other guys that we had our tight little group. At the end of the day, when we all shut PUBG down, we'd all be in Rocket League and we'd be in there just laughing and giggling and having a good time, and then
The big boy jumps.
and then we'd torture ourselves again with the same bullshit the next day. And
Yeah.
But it made it all worth it at the end of the day to go to Rocket League and have genuine fun with our friends.
and if we would just do that on stream, we would have probably built a community anyways. That half the shit that was said probably couldn't be said. Yeah, what's that? We're getting past that fear.
Getting past that fear.
I'm
Originally,
gonna do it with
nobody's gonna watch me,
invasion.
or people watch me commit tax evasion.
Yeah.
On stream. No big deal. It could be worse. I could be playing like mayonnaise simulator or something.
What?
That's the thing.
There's a power wash simulator out there that's very addicting.
Don't hate
I
on
said it's
Power
very addicting.
I
I
haven't
tried
played
to
it.
watch it and I just can't.
I don't
See?
think it's one of those ones where you kind of it's a play game. It's one of those ones. I have one that's called Viscera that I play a lot, and it's literally you just cleaning up a bunch of dead bodies.
What kind of shit are you into, Tank? Do I need to have?
This is art for me. I go and tame some dinosaurs and kill some dinosaurs and.
Right, exactly. It's just like Viscera is really funny because like it's you like have like aliens that shot up a bunch of workers, and then you have to clean up the workers and the aliens and like put them in like little bins and like clean up all their blood and the bullet holes off the wall, and it's really stupid and it's very gory, but it's fun and it's a great time killer. I spent like 3 hours just cleaning up dead bodies. I'm like, whoa, this was the best one of my life. Like, it's stupid, but it's.
You give me kind of Dexter vibes here.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Good show, by the way. Good show.
It is a good show. It is a good show. I do watch serial killer documentaries to go to sleep.
My God, my wife.
Most women do.
But then walks around the house 14 times in the middle of the night, check the doors, and wonder why she's tired the next day.
Well, it's because we've been watching serial killer documentaries.
Hand in hand. They go hand in hand.
We're prepared.
Yeah, prepared.
You can't. It's like reading a book. Like, it's the same thing. It's just in video form. We're gonna read the book. You have to prepare yourself for stuff like this. It's basically, serial killers for dummies.
For dummies. Or then you got the idiots that watch it and be like, oh, he did this wrong, let me try to fix that.
Yeah, those people, as the wonderful Bailey Sarian always says, get better idols, people. Seriously. I don't understand why people idolize serial killers. For me, I think it's a fascination because it's something that I haven't experienced personally, and I hope to never experience personally. But I think for me, it's like, these people are actually out there doing these things. Like, this is something that actually happened, and it seems so outlandish and so far off, and then you meet somebody that's like, oh my God, I watched somebody get stabbed in the Walmart parking lot, and you're like, tell me more,
Well, yeah, my wife, every day, Jerry, what time? Every day I walk my wife out to the car. At night, when she gets ready to go to work, I walk her out to the car, and I check the back seat in the back of the Tahoe.
Adorable.
And she was like, she came home and shared this story with me up in Detroit, 40 minutes away from me right now from where I live. Guy just got shot in the back of his head in his car because he didn't check the back seat of his car and went down the road, and they shot him in the back of the head going down the road.
And
Like,
that's outlandish to me because, like, I would never think to check the backseat of my vehicle. Ever.
my wife does everywhere she goes. So
It's absolutely terrifying, but that's sadly, you know, one of those things you have to deal with in different areas. For
yep.
me, I have to worry about, you know, like walking out in the middle of the yard in the middle of the night and getting bit by a snake, or, you know, a crackhead just sitting on the side of my house doing whatever crackheads do. You know?
Yeah.
I live in between cornfields, so not much going on around here.
They're just stealing your diesel fuel, that's all.
Is it red?
Is it red?
I said, is it red?
Yeah. But all in all, with all this, you've explained like how mental health has went over and helped you with everything. It's huge for all of us. That's why we're doing what we do. I know it's day in, day out, but as long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep trying to make progress, then you will make progress.
One thing that I know that helps me is setting goals daily. You know, if I'm in that state of mind, setting, whether it be cleaning something that I know needs cleaned that I'm just procrastinating on because I don't want to do it. You know, it's just setting little goals that lead up to a big goal, because when you set little goals, you feel like you've accomplished something that you wanted to accomplish, and you feel better about it.
Yeah.
Another thing that is good for me is reaching out to my friends, not even to talk about anything, just to talk.
Yeah.
You know, I text Alyssa. Sometimes I text Ryan. I text Colton. Used to text Tyler. So, just reaching out to someone, not necessarily to talk about, you know, what's weighing me down or anything like that, but just to talk, because that person just carrying on a conversation with you can brighten your whole day.
Yeah. Definitely. I think for me, one thing that I've always tried to do since I was little, I've dealt with stuff since I was little. I had a lot of trauma when I was a child. I think for me, it was very beneficial for me to understand that I am the master of my fate and I choose how my day is going to go. For me, if I wake up in a bad mood, I go back to sleep. Even if I have responsibilities or anything like that, an extra 10 minutes can change my mood completely. I think it's one of those things of, it really wasn't that important if I need to be, you know, in that bad of a mood. It's not going to lead to any good. And, you know, crawling back in bed, even if I don't fully go to sleep, if I just sit there and close my eyes and kind of reset myself, I choose to let my day be good. I have to choose happiness every single time I wake up. If I wake up in a bad mood and I say, hey, today's just going to be a no good day, I can't do anything right, I can't do this, I can't do that, and getting myself into that mindset isn't going to do anything productive for myself. And some days I can't fight that, and some days I just don't want to fight that. But it's a matter of, if I choose happiness and I choose to not let the worries of yesterday bother me and focus on today solely, I can usually get through my day. And it may not be the best day ever, but it's better than it started. And that's all I can ask for. And a big thing is, don't dwell on your past mistakes, especially when it's not something you can change. You can't change your past, but you can look forwards towards your future and actively choose to make decisions that are going to help you in the long run. You know, for me, if I don't put the cap back on the toothpaste, my toothpaste is probably going to ooze out on the counter and I'm going to have to clean that up. So if I just take the time, the 2 seconds to put the cap back on the toothpaste, I don't have to clean up toothpaste in, you know, a day's time. If I wash out a cup in the sink, instead of leaving milk in the bottom of it, I'm not going to have to scrub that cup. I'm just going to have to, you know, rinse it out with soap and water and put it in the dishwasher. It's the little mundane things that you can do to kind of prevent yourself from feeling like everything is too much, especially when you do get, for me, I have problems with depression. Um, Sometimes getting up and getting in the shower feels like too much for me, and it feels like it's just overwhelming, and I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do anything. I don't have that willingness there. But I have two dogs that rely on me. They have to be taken out, and for me, I really rely on them to kind of push me out of bed sometimes and say, you know, I can at least let them out to go potty and let them run around and step outside for a minute and kind of take in some fresh air and do something to change my mindset, just a small amount. I have to go get them water real quick. Oh, I noticed that their water bowl is completely empty. I'll wash it out real quick. I'll put water in it. Oh, their food bowl is empty. I've got to get them food. And so it kind of sets me on this chain reaction of me noticing, hey, that's something small I can do to make it feel a little bit better. You know, and by the time I typically end up being done, you know, one room is completely clean, and I didn't even take 30 minutes to do that. But it was just a small chain reaction of seeing this small thing that I could do, this small thing, and kind of building myself up to a larger goal.
Yep.
Absolutely. Resiliency in the army was taught be the ball, not the egg, kind of expression. Bounce back, don't crack, kind of thing. You know. And then another thing, if you wake up and look for negative, you're gonna find negative. You wake up and find 3 little positive things. You tell yourself them positive things. It changes your mindset throughout the day, and they really do help. It really does help. I know that for a fact. You wake up and bitch and moan, you're gonna spend the rest of your day, majority of the time, bitching and moaning. So if you're old like Jerry, then yeah, it's just majority of the time in your ornery.
Yeah, we need a fourth.
But with games being on the mind, what is your go-to game
Right now,
all time? If you could play a game for
all
the rest,
time. For the rest
Yes.
of my life, it would be Fable.
Fable? Okay.
It will always be Fable. That is my nostalgia game.
Okay.
That was one of the very first games that I can remember playing as a kid. That wasn't Super Mario Brothers or, you know, Pong, Tetris, that kind of thing. That was the first game that I had the opportunity to kind of branch out and play on my own. My sister helped me with it. We had like a little save file that we did together. And you know, she would do parts and I would do parts and we'd go back and forth. But for me, Fable was my, oh my god, I'm falling in love with gaming and this is something that I want to do. I remember telling, I think it was in like 5th grade, somebody asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a game tester. I don't want to be a game tester anymore, but I learned what goes into that and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
I definitely love playing video games still.
Yeah. Jerry,
Yeah.
you're not excluded from this conversation on this one.
I don't honestly.
Little Big Planet, we get it, Jerry. It's okay.
What?
Little Big Planet.
That's a good
What
game.
is?
That's the one with the little yarn dude.
still
I
don't
know
what
that game.
is.
That's a little, you like, it's a little yarn
I-
dude.
I
I don't
think
know how else
Rocket
to
League
explain it.
is probably, or a sports game. Appearing offline, not streaming, like just me with me and my game. I play sports games. I enjoy those. They distract me. They take my mind off things. I can allow myself to think about things while playing those games and still having fun with them. So yeah, I'd say probably sports games and add Rocket League in there to play with my friends.
Okay. Mine, I was huge in the Need for Speed series, like all of them. Hot Pursuit all the way through.
Bro, we can play the new
Middle
Need
or
for Speed.
underground?
Underground, the original, I beat it with every car.
Same.
So,
But which one is better, Carbon or Underground?
Underground.
oh, definitely Underground.
Okay, just had to make sure here.
Yeah.
We're all on the same page.
Shut up, Wuchi. Wuchi says any game that doesn't track KD.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We've been working on getting Alyssa into Rocket League. She likes to demo Jerry. So that's a lot of fun.
That's
Was
great.
that's what I did in Rocket League as well. I just ran around grabbing all the boosties from everybody and blowing people up.
That's all I know what to do. I'm a great defensive player.
Do you guys remember Fusion Frenzy at all?
No.
I can't say that I do on that one. If you give me a description, I might be able to.
It was like a party game where you gotta go do these like mini events and mini games and stuff, and kind of
Like a knockoff Mario Party.
kinda. Yeah, it was the Xbox's exclusive one, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So. Oh no, I thought the stream and everything reset. We got chimes in from Squeezed, who's huge in the community. He says 2K for him in Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead, yep. That's a good one.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
I enjoy me some Red Dead too, online.
You know what is a really stupid game that I play, and it was a Flash game. Obviously, we don't have Flash anymore; they don't support it. But Yuta Sushi Chef, I downloaded to my PC from Big Fish Games. And you literally just sit there and make
Big
sushi.
Fish Games, is that like
Yeah.
what we used to sneak on in school to play?
Yeah.
Oh no.
They have like a whole little app with all the Flash games now.
I'll
Oh,
Morgan
shit.
Trail
You can
in
pay like
school.
$3.99 to buy the
Your old
game.
Jerry. Oh Jesus, Farming Simulator, let's go. He's still
No,
up.
it's not bad.
Yeah, I remember like sneaking on all those websites to play the games, and then you get caught and get in trouble.
Cool math games.
Yeah, oh yeah, Cool Math Games is a
one.
huge site. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the other one? There was another one. It was like brainteaser.org or something like that.
Yeah.
That did all that.
Yeah. Oh, crazy gaming even when in school, trying to get away with it.
I remember, okay, I should admit this. If my teachers ever see this from high school, I'm sorry. But I remember getting in trouble in ISS because I was hacking by putting like a VPN address in front of whatever website I wanted to go to. And I was watching like soap operas in the middle of in-school suspension. And I remember getting caught and getting like 4 more days of in-school suspension because I was like doing that and playing video games at school. And I was like, what's wrong with it? Like they're like, you're going out of your way to hack a website so that you could get into it at school. And I was like, and I was just smart enough to do it. Like but it was one of those things my teachers used to laugh at me because I was one of those people that like I was too smart for my own damn good in school. And it got me into trouble more than
bored.
because I was bored. I didn't have anything to do and I didn't want to do my work. And if I knew now knew then what I know now, it probably would have saved a lot of heartache in the long run.
Oh yeah. We all did it. I remember we got the teacher's login information one time because somebody watched him type it in. That did bypass. So, Alyssa,
Yeah.
anything else?
Nope. I think if unless Drag wants to share anything else, you guys are probably free to go play your games.
I don't care either way. I'm pretty much an open book. I guess I will say one more thing. The reason why I started streaming was to build a place for people to come to kind of get their worries, kind of drop their load. That sounded really bad. Oh my god.
Yeah, well,
Let me rephrase that. To take the bags off of their shoulders and put on the ground. And put their worries to the side for a little bit, because for me, whenever I joined Mixer, I found Stacks, I found Fade, I found Sharp, I found Elbori, and Elbori is the one I'm really gonna hone in on. And Mr. Mitch Rapp as well. Both of them really helped me through a very difficult point in my life. My father passed away unexpectedly in October of 2019, and I booted up my Xbox and went to start playing games to try to kind of distract myself, because at the point that I had been in bed for about a week and I hadn't really got up and done anything. I'd, gone and taken a shower, eaten food, used the bathroom, gone right back to bed, trying to just kind of sleep off what I was feeling. And I booted up my Xbox, and right there on my homepage was Mixer. And I was like, I should check this out. I'm bored. I'm not really feeling like talking to people. Why don't I go in here and check out what this Mixer is? And from that, I found Fade 101. And then from Fade 101, I found Stack2. And from Stack2, I found Mr. Mitch Rapp. And from Mr. Mitch Rapp, I found El Bori. And I just went down the list of watching all these different content creators interacting with each other, having a good time. And with Bori, I opened up with him and I said, man, I'm really struggling. And at this time, I have the username DragUpTank. Nobody knows I'm a female. They're all assuming that I'm just this man. For the longest time, Bori and Mitch both thought I was a drag queen. That was a gay man, married to a man. That was really shocking to them to find out I was a female. It was one of those things of, I opened up to Bori and I was like, look, dude, I'm having a hard time. My dad actually just passed away, and I just want to say your content and how upbeat and how uplifting you guys are with each other, and y'all just having a good time has really distracted me, and I really appreciate that. And then, I started hanging out with the communities more and more and more, and getting to know people, playing games with them, joining their viewer nights, and just kind of having a sense of belonging to a community that just kind of wanted to bring, people together to have a good time. They weren't really intending to focus on stuff, but when they were there when you needed it. And I appreciate each and every single one of them. Bori, Mitch, everybody like that. They helped me through a really, really hard time in my life. And Bori really pushed me to start streaming. He, I showed interest. I was like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And he kind of showed me like, hey, this is what you do. You just talk to people. Don't be nervous. Just do it. It's a lot of fun. And that kind of pushed me to start building a community that really was inclusive and wanting to have that place for people to be able to come to talk or come to say, hey, I'm not having a good day. Do you mind if I just sit in here and make dumb fart noises with your TTS by giving you 50 bits? Go right ahead, buddy. Whatever makes you happy. And I just like to be able to give back to people what was given to me when I needed it the most.
It's crazy because our stories coming into streaming started the same exact path. Mine, I was literally on the verge of taking my own life and I had everything planned out. And I got up one day and I got on. I went to go play Xbox. Kind of same thing. I was with the Hell's Mixer and I ran in same damn group of people, but Stacks I drew to because he was a veteran, and then he rated Mitch, and then it like went down that same thing, and I spent like the next 8 to 10 hours on Mixer with forgetting what I was going through, and I had a plan all set up for that day, and like had a note ready, and then after watching stream all day, my kids came home from wherever they were at with my wife, and like my kids ran through the door and I heard their laughter, and I was like, what the fuck am I thinking? And then the next couple of days, 4 or 5 days goes by, and I'm inside Stacks every morning when he's live. I'm waiting for him, and I'm like wanting to be in there because I feel welcome.
Yeah.
So then I start picking Matt's ear.
Yeah.
Like, what do you got to do to stream?
Yeah.
Like, I want people to see what I'm doing. I want people to come in here and talk to me. And it became joining Mitch. I think Mitch's was the first ever Discord I joined because he was the first one who was like, hey, if you have questions about technology or anything, shoot them in the Discord.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we're in the Discord. He's showing me like, go get an Elgato. This is what your PC needs, or you can stream from the Xbox. But me being me, I was like, fuck, what else do I got to lose? Let me go buy all this shit that I didn't need to buy.
Yep, I'm the same way.
and
Every
within
streamer everywhere.
so within I want to say it was within 10 days I was up and live on Mixer, and I didn't stop. Like I was in their streams every day, and it gave me that solid ground again to be like, what was I thinking, to find another way out of it, and that there is people out there. And that's where I started to build my stream upon. It's always, you're welcome in here no matter what. And if you need anything, I might not be able to help you, but I will try to help you find what you need.
Exactly.
And that's what gives me the motivation the longest time to stream as much as I did. And it's crazy.
Build off that a little bit, which is Jester in chat. Hello, Jester. Good to see you. Part of what we've done with the organization is we've created a stream team. With that stream team, we have Baraku, who's very popular in the community, PUBG community. He's recently went to DTARP. We have Eskimo Joe. She is just a fabulous human being. Was quite the story herself. We have Full, who, if anybody knows Full, he's not as much of an asshole as you think he is. And then Sharp Ben and I. And our whole purpose with this team is we aren't just a team, right? We are a group of people that anybody can come into any one of our chats, any one of our DMs, anything, and just talk to us. If they need something, talk to us. If we can help, we will. And that comes back to what you said earlier. If we can't, we will suggest. And that will then lead into the organization, right? So that's what the overall purpose of what we're doing tonight, every day, is we want people to know that there are other people that care. Whether you know them or not, they care.
Yeah.
I don't know half the people I've talked to, but I care. I want them to wake up tomorrow and have a great day.
I think a lot of people don't understand that just because you don't see yourself in the best light and you don't see the value and the worth that you have doesn't mean that people like myself, and you guys included, don't see a wonderful human being and a wonderful person. And you might think that's a facade, you might think that this is that, but your viewpoint of yourself is always going to be different than how anybody else sees you. Alyssa's going to see me different than Sharp sees me. Jared's going to see me different than, Alyssa sees me. It's all depending on your perspective, and you never know how much somebody truly cares about you, and you'll never find out by taking the route of suicide.
Correct.
If you take the time to reach out and get that opportunity to have somebody actually, talk to you and let you know, hey, we care about you, we love you. If there's something we can do for you, let us know. But you have to open up to a certain degree for us to know there's something that we need to do to help you.
1000% agree with that. And I forgot to mention one lovely lady that all know, Wench 22. Her and Mitch and Stacks are the three that I leaned on the most, and I talked to Danny outside of any of gaming and stuff, and she's the one that actually got me into Mission 22 and got me going forward with that. And for her, I'm forever grateful, because it changed my life and give me the strength to want to be able to help others.
I get that completely.
There's definitely people. It's just a matter of reaching out at the end of the day.
I see your mouth moving, but I hear absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I was talking to
chat.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
talking to chat.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt, and Moochie asked the question in chat.
So, I mean, Alyssa, do you have anything you want to add to any of that?
No, I just want to thank you for your time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
It's been a
And we
great
were sitting there going, definitely. We were going over like people to interview and within, and you were the first person that came to mind because I remember the first times that we shared and Gang Beast and all the random fuckery. I'm not gonna stop saying it. It was literally that. It was,
It really was.
and it was just good times and laughter and friends, and that's why I instantly thought of you. So I
I
felt
definitely appreciate it. I am sorry that, I haven't really been as active lately, with my community and everything like that. I kind of bebop from place to place to place, but I always have a place for every person that's joined my community. You don't lose your place in your community if you haven't been around for a month or 3 years. You still have a place in my community, and you still have a place, to come to and to be a part of. Because I don't cut people off over them not showing up to my streams. I know that's a really common thing for some, larger streamers and stuff like that. I'm not a larger streamer. I'm still a small streamer. Don't get me wrong on that. But I do know that it feels like you don't have the avenue, and I've never shunned people away from my community. If you can't make it to a stream, it's not the end of the world. I just want to know that you're okay.
right, absolutely, and that's kind of the same thing we want for everybody.
Yes.
Oh, she's such a goofball.